What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews, exclusively here as always on the Casa Studios channel. I, of course, am your host, the Renegade JJ Williams, and today we're going to be discussing the classic 1953 tale from the Walt Disney Animation Studios, Peter Pan, starring the vocal talents of Bobby Driscoll, Catherine Beaumont, Paul Collins, Hans Conried, Bill Thompson, June Foray, Tommy Lusk, and Heather Angel. What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining me here once again for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews. And as I said during the introduction, today is going to be another fun one because we're going to be discussing Peter Pan, the 1953 tale from the Walt Disney Animation Studios filmography, right almost in the middle of the Silver Age here. You know, there's 8 films collectively in the Silver Age, so it's hard to have a middle point. But we're right there. You know, the ball started rolling with Cinderella. It picked up steam with Alice in Wonderland. And now that Avalanche is in like full force here, come Peter Pan. Let's get into it here, shall we? Our story takes place in London, England, circa the year 1900. George and Mary Darling are preparing to attend a party, but are disrupted by the antics of their children, John and Michael, who are acting out a story about Peter Pan that their older sister, Wendy, had told them. Wendy tells the boys stories about Peter Pan every night before bed, and their father, George, is fed up with the stories. He declares that Wendy has gotten too old to continue staying in the nursery. So that evening, Wendy and the boys are visited by none other than Peter Pan himself, who teaches them how to fly with the unwilling help of his pixie friend, Tinkerbell. And the group head off to the island of Neverland. When we get our first glimpse of Neverland, we see a ship of pirates anchored off the Neverland shore, led by the notorious Captain Hook and his first mate, Mr. Smee. Now, Hook has desires to take revenge on Peter Pan for cutting off his hand, but he fears that the crocodile who ate his hand is eager to devour the rest of him. Once Peter Pan and the Darling children arrive in Neverland, Captain Hook shoots at them with a cannon. Peter sends the Darlings off to safety while he taunts Hook and his crew. Now, Tinkerbell, who is jealous, like insanely jealous, of the attention that Peter has been giving Wendy, persuades the Lost Boys that Pan has ordered them to shoot Wendy down. Tink's treachery is soon found out, though, and as a result, Peter banishes her. John and Michael set off with the Lost Boys in order to find the island's Indians, who captured John, Michael, and the Lost Boys, believing them to be responsible for taking the chief's daughter, Tiger Lily. Now, while John, Michael, and the Lost Boys are dealing with the Indians, Peter takes Wendy to the Mermaid Lagoon in order to meet the Neverland mermaids. However, the mermaids flee in terror when Hook arrives on the scene. Peter and Wendy discover that Hook and Smee are the ones that have actually kidnapped Tiger Lily, as they want her to divulge Peter's hideout location. Now, Peter is able to free her and return her to the chief, and the tribe honors Peter. Hook then plots to take advantage of Tinkerbell's jealousy of Wendy by tricking her into revealing the location of Peter's lair. Wendy and her brothers begin to grow homesick and plan to return home. They invite Peter and the Lost Boys to return with them to London and be adopted by the Darling parents. And the Lost Boys agree, as they like the thought of a mother. But Peter refuses, as he doesn't want to grow up. The pirates lie in wait, biding their time for the best moment, and they capture the Lost Boys as well as the Darling children as they exit the lair, leaving behind a bomb with intentions to kill Peter. Learns of the plot just in time to snatch the bomb from Peter as it explodes. Peter rescues Tink from the rubble, and together they confront the pirates. They are able to release the Darling children before they have to walk the plank, and Peter engages Hook in a sword fight as the children take on the rest of Hook's crew. Peter is able to defeat Hook, who falls into the water and swims away as the crocodile pursues him. Peter commandeers Hook's ship, the Jolly Roger, and, assisted by Tink's pixie dust, flies it to London with the children aboard. The Lost Boys decide that they would rather return to Neverland with Peter instead of being adopted and living in London. And our story ends with George and Mary returning from their party to find Wendy asleep at the open nursery window. When Wendy awakens, she tells her parents about the adventure that she and her brothers just had. And the parents look out the window and see what appears to be a pirate ship in the clouds. And George has calmed down some from his anger earlier in the film, says that Wendy can continue to sleep in the nursery if she so desires. He then gets a bit of a twinkle in his eye, saying that he recognizes the ship in the clouds from when he was a boy. Man, Peter Pan is definitely a classic tale. It transcends generations to the point that, and you guys may have heard this story before if you've seen me and Jeff discuss Peter Pan. But Jeff's son Dylan, when he first came to live with me, as you guys know, Jeff, his then fiance, Dylan's mother, and Dylan came to live with me in Long Beach for a while, about 10 years ago now, maybe a little bit longer, 11 years. And when they first moved in and they were first visiting on a regular basis, Dylan was obsessed with Peter Pan. He would not go to bed unless he had seen Peter Pan. And I was aware of this prior to one of their visits. And I attempted to tell Dylan we didn't have Peter Pan. So I'm sorry, but you can't watch it. And Jeff, unaware of what I was trying to do, completely threw me under the bus. It's like, you have it right there. And I had to give him one of those looks. It's like, dude, what did you just do? Because he didn't realize what I was trying to do. But just the fact that Dylan is now 13, but, you know, a boy 3 years old in 2011 is just as obsessed with this 1953 film as kids were in the 80s and the 70s and the 60s, when it was still quite the newer release. just tells the power of the storytelling within the film. And then the classic, you can fly, you can fly, you can fly. We're following the leader. I sometimes will feel the following the leader vibe when I'm at work. I won't straight out break out in the song because I'm not the greatest singer in the world. I know this. But I'll occasionally in my head just kind of have it going through my brain, you know, because it's such a catchy song. And when the situation calls for it, it's a perfect song for just about any leadership occasion. I love the fact, and I didn't know this until I did some research on the film, but I love the fact that Hans Conrad was not only the voice of Captain Hook, but was the voice of George Darling as well. Apparently, this is a trend in the live action versions of Peter Pan where the Darling father, who in the beginning is very much opposed to the stories of Peter Pan and all the shenanigans going on in the nursery, is also Captain Hook, Pan's arch nemesis. So it makes sense why there would be the double, role there. But the fact that George has that moment at the end where he sees the ship and he realizes everything that Wendy's been saying has been true, and he remembers the ship from when he was young and would hear stories of Peter Pan. Such a great way to end the movie and redeem George Darling, in my opinion. And then there's the fan theories out there. And I love the fan theory in this one. So I'm going to go ahead and touch on it a little bit. For those of you that don't know, there is a theory that Peter Pan is a guardian angel. And the reason why he and the Lost Boys never grow up is because they're all dead. Peter Pan is an angel who takes children to the afterlife. And it's an interesting way to look at it, Don't know whether it's true or not. I'm sure it's not. But it's just an interesting way to think about it, Why wouldn't the kids get older unless they were dead? So they stay the age that they were when they passed away. When Wendy is talking to them about a mother, a couple of them say that they remember having a mother once. But you've moved on to the afterlife. So you had one once. They don't say, oh, yeah, I have a mom. I have a mom. I had a mother once. It's just a very interesting way to think about the tale of Peter Pan and try to read a little bit more into the text and the context than maybe is really there. But think about it the next time that you watch the film and watch it with that mentality and that in your thought process. And when it comes to Peter Pan, I give it 5 out of 5. I just adore this film, despite the fact that I tried to keep a 3-year-old from watching it. And I know I'm a mean Unky J for that. But you got to understand the circumstances. But I do love this film. And I think, like I said, it's just such great storytelling that you cannot go wrong with Peter Pan. Make sure you guys get out there on social media. Get those hashtags trending for me. Hashtag Casa D18 Studios. Hashtag Renegades Reviews. Hashtag Renegade Returns. And of course, the ever popular hashtag Shenanigans. We interrupt this episode of Renegades Reviews for an important announcement about
merchandising.
Merchandising? What's that?
Merchandising. Come, I'll show you. Merchandising, where the real money's made.
Make sure you go over to teespring.com/stores/Jeff Meacham Network for all the t-shirts you see here from the West Coast professor, Jeff Meacham himself. You can get shirts for the Jeff Meacham Network, Talk Wrestling, as well as the red and gold Meachamania shirts. And while you're there, don't forget to get your shirts of the Casa D18 Studios Brotherhood, the Dads on Wrestling shirt, the Renegade JJ Williams, Statboy Sports Bar, and the hashtag StatBoyApproved shirt. Make sure you go over to teespring.com/stores/Jeff Meacham Network and score your shirts today. Make sure you guys get out there. Do what that commercial just told you. Go to teespring.com/stores/Jeff Meacham Network. And all the official merchandise of the Casa D18 Studios Brotherhood. Get you your Renegade JJ Williams shirt, Dad's Not Always on Wrestling, Statboy Sports Bar, hashtag StatBoyApproved, hashtag Shenanigans. Get you your official merchandise of the Jeff Meacham Network, 3 different designs of the Jeff Meacham Network logo for you to choose from, along with Talk Wrestling, Meachamania, and so much more. Get out there and support. And while we're talking about supporting, do what that ticker tells you to do. Get out there. You enjoy my product? Send me a donation. You want me to have more movies to review? Send me a donation. Or go to my link tree, purchase something off my Amazon movie wish list. Keep in mind, guys, I am currently not monetized. So I get no money from YouTube for all my views. I'm currently trying to get my view hours up so that I can eventually monetize. But as of now, the only way I can make $1 off of this is if you guys go to that and support me. However much you feel comfortable sending my way, I greatly appreciate the thought and the donation and the support. Or, like I said, go to that link tree, purchase a movie off my Amazon movie wish list. When it comes in the mail and I open it live on Renegade Recap during the movie mail segment, I'll give you a shout out. Thank you live on the air for it. And then once I work it into my theme for the month, wherever I can fit it in to review it, I'll give you another shout out. Thank you for supporting me and for building up my collection even more. Anything to get you guys be a little bit more interactive with me, help me out, support. So I greatly appreciate you guys. Tomorrow, right back here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, make sure you tune in for another brand new installment of Renegades Reviews, where I will be joined by none other than the West Coast professor, Jeff Meacham himself, as we discuss 1955's Lady and the Tramp. And no, we're not talking about November 5th, 1955. It's a whole other saga we did already. But Lady and the Tramp, featuring the vocal talents of Barbara Luddy, Larry Roberts, Bill Thompson, Bill Balcom, Verna Felton, Peggy Lee, Alan Reed, Thurl Ravenscroft, and Stan Freberg. You're not going to want to miss out tomorrow, right back here on the Casa D18 Studios channel, when I take a look at the classic Silver Age entry, Lady and the Tramp. To all my loyal viewers watching along during the premiere, leaving your comments over here, thank you very much. I greatly appreciate you guys. All my loyal viewers watching later in the day on demand, leaving your thoughts and comments down here. Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate you guys. I appreciate each and every one of you guys tuning in on a regular basis and supporting me. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.